There we go. All right. So Kate is definitely a familiar face if you guys have been following along with My Wolf Design or even on my personal account. Good friend and very talented website and brand designer. So Kate has put together this presentation, which she just mentioned she's done before and has tweaked it specifically for you guys. So I am really excited to dive in. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Kate.
Awesome. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I see some familiar faces here and also some not. So thanks for joining. And thank you to Meredith for having me. It's always such a pleasure. I love monthly training. So I'm glad I get to be a part of it. So first off, a little about me. I'm Kate Bradfield. If you do not know me, I'm the owner and creative director of Field & Co Creative, a branding and web design agency for change-making organizations. A few little facts about me. I'm a Conestoga grad, a mule lover, like the kind in a copper mug, you know, ginger beer. I'm a cat mom, a tree hugger, an amateur skier, and a first-time human. So please be patient with me. So here's a quick rundown of what we're going to be covering today. So we're going to talk about how to educate people on your product or service that you're selling, consistent and effective brand touch points, and delivering value all the way through the customer journey. So I want to do a quick overview of what I mean when I say customer journey, because that's going to come up a lot. So when I'm talking about customer journey, I mean the moment a customer hears your name or sees your content or gets a recommendation about you, all the way through to them being a past client or customer of you. So every stage in that journey. So when it comes to making buying decisions, people are selfish. The truth is that other people don't care about your product, service, or business in the same way that you do. So if you want to encourage engagement or a sale, you've got to speak your audience's language. Your audience wants to know the following. 1, how does your product or service fit into their life? What can you do for them? Will it be an inconvenient thing or will it make more work for them? What are the benefits? This is what they want to know. Number 2, do you understand their pain points and their challenges? Can you identify and solve a problem that they have? Better yet, can you identify and solve a problem they didn't even realize was a problem? Number 3 is why you. What's your differentiating factor? Your price point, the speed of your service, values alignment, the quality of your ingredients, maybe. It's different for every business. So let's talk about your brand benefits. These fall into 2 categories, functional benefits and emotional benefits. So we can use a residential cleaning business as an example. The functional benefits for this brand might be a clean home, time save, non-toxic products used, and maybe their laundry is completed. So those are all really important things and probably where your mind goes first when you think about a residential cleaning business and how you would communicate your service. But we also need to think about the emotional benefits. So that could be things like they could feel closer to their family because they might have reduced resentment about who does what chores. They could have more time to spend on their hobbies, therefore feeling more fulfilled in their lives. They can feel relaxed and relieved that the tasks are completed. They can feel confidence and pride in their home. They will feel safe from harsh chemicals and possibly have improved mental health and clarity. So it's really important to understand your brand's benefits, both functional and emotional, in order to speak to each one. When we pair these together, that's how you're going to effectively communicate those 3 things your audience wants to know that we talked about on the last slide. By knowing your functional benefits, you communicate how your product works and fits into their lives, showing your audience how it will improve and streamline. And by knowing and effectively communicating your emotional benefits, you show your audience that you understand their pain points and challenges. And when we speak to both of these together, you can connect and engage with your customers on another level. This helps to form a relationship between the consumer and the brand by appealing to their emotions and to their ego, therefore helping them feel closer to the person that they want to become. This is a really important foundation to have before you move on to optimizing your brand touch points. Could everybody just make sure they're muted, please? Sorry, it's kind of distracting. So it takes people on average 0.05 seconds to form an opinion about your brand, purely based on the visuals and the messaging. Consistency and trust go hand in hand, and humans make split-second decisions based on feelings, beliefs, and values. That's why consistent and up-to-date visuals and messaging can help to build trust and engage those beliefs and values to make the buying decision easy. When it comes to the touch points of your business, which we're going to talk about soon, you need to keep it consistent and clear. Those are the two words I want you to remember. The foundation for consistent and clear touch points includes 1, the copy, which is any written content on your website, socials, email marketing, print ads, digital ads, client communications, and any other brand touch point should all sound like it's coming from the same point of view and tone of voice. For example, if you're flip-flopping between using Gen Z slang and then the Queen's English, it's really hard to form a bond with you because we're really not sure who you are. The second thing is a consistent visual brand. So this means your logos, colors, fonts, imagery, illustrations, etc., are key to getting your audience engaged and listening to what you have to say. We first need to remove the barrier of figuring out who they're listening to, and you can do that with immediately recognizable brand visuals. Think about when you're scrolling through Instagram and you see a post that you recognize who it's from and you know that that person consistently puts out valuable content, you're going to stop and you're going to read it because they have been consistent and clear in the way they are portraying their business. Number 3 is to speak to your company's values early on. By showing your audience that they can confidently spend their hard-earned money on you and that you will use it in an ethical way that aligns with their values, you differentiate yourself and make a buying decision that much easier. Number 4 is to step out of your own perspective and into the perspective of your audience. What do they want? How do they view your offering? What about your offering would appeal to them? This can be done via surveys, reviews, etc. We really want to make sure that you're coming at your messaging and your visuals from a place of the perspective of your audience, rather than the perspective of you as the business owner. And the last one here is to speak to both the functional and emotional benefits, which we talked about earlier, equally. A lot of folks forget to focus on the emotional side. The emotional benefits are why the functional benefits matter. Your brand is being cultivated every day through your content, client experiences, communications, and more. So we're going to talk a little bit more about brand touch points and how those experiences can cultivate your brand. So I've said the word brand touch points a lot, and you're probably like, okay, what does this mean? So brand touch point is anywhere a viewer interacts with your brand. It's likely you have hundreds or maybe thousands of these within your business. If your audience is seeing something with your name on it or is associated with you in any way, that, my friend, is a touch point. So every business's specific touch points are different depending on a multitude of factors like your industry, the type of product or service you sell, your location, the process of working with you, whether you're a product or a service-based business. So it's up to you to determine which touch points are specific to your business. And the perception of your brand across all of these touch points is what creates authenticity, trust, and brand loyalty, which are all essential. Anyone can invest in a beautiful logo, but if that same care and intention is not carried through other touch points, it can make your brand appear less trustworthy. And by considering all of your brand touch points and optimizing them, that's what's going to make your audience say, damn, I need to work with this person, or I need to tell everyone I know about this. So I have on the left here, I guess it's not on the left for you, but it is for me, some examples of brand touch points. This is a very non-exhaustive list. Like I said, these are going to be very specific to your brand. So I'll just go through a couple of them here. You will be receiving this presentation as a PDF after, so don't feel the need to frantically write notes unless you want to. So social media is a huge brand touch point for a lot of people. So this means every single post you've ever put on your Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, including your stories, your highlights, your bio, tagged images of you, any video content, anything you've put on social media. And then the next most important one is your website. And this means every single page on your website. Even the 404 error page is a brand touch point. So you never know where someone's going to click. So make sure every single page of your website is consistent and clear. And then obviously we have email marketing, email signatures, any printed materials, the look and feeling of your brick and mortar store, any content you create, client reviews, interactions with your team members, and the list goes on and on. I'm not going to go through every single one, but just know that every single thing you're doing as a business that your audience is going to interact with is a brand touch point. Is there any questions at this point? Okay, awesome. Okay, I know that was a lot of information and you're probably like, holy shit, I didn't even realize that I should be considering all these things. And I just added a whole bunch of things to your to-do list. So let's find out how we can improve on those touch points. I'm going to give you a bit of an actionable plan here. So step one is to identify your brand's specific touch points. And like I said, each brand will have a unique set of touch points that you use to interact with your audience. So how do you currently interact with your customers? This can be done by surveying your current and past customers on their experience with your brand. That can help you step out of your own perspective. So let's stick with the residential cleaning business example. We're going to use it throughout the whole presentation. The first touch point with a brand like this will likely be one of the following. So we've got touch point one here. So possibly a sponsored ad on social media, a Google search, or a word of mouth recommendation, which would then prompt a website search. So that is just a few options for touch point one. The second touch point is would probably be one of the following. So a look through the social media account. And like I said, it would be posts, highlights, stories, videos, a mixture of some of those, and or a look through the website. And like I said, all pages need to be considered. You never know where someone may dig around on your website. And then the third touch point would likely be an email sign up, a social media follow, an inquiry on a website, or an email, DM, or other form of contact. So this is 9 possible touch points happening before we've ever even spoke with this person. And I'm probably missing quite a few in here. And depending on the business, this could be double or triple the amount of touch points before you've even spoken with this person. So you have to consider all of those possible touch points before someone could even speak with you and make sure that they are optimized, consistent, and clear. And then step 2 is to segment your audience. So a possible segment for a service-based business could be cold lead, warm lead, current client, and then past client. So basically, you want to categorize your audience into stages of the buyer journey and then any other demographics to help curate those touch points to that person. So this segment could be broken down even further into categories like folks in Kitchener, Ontario, folks who live in a condo or apartment versus a, I'm going to go to this side. So so you can break it down even further depending on the type of client they are. So they could be a cold lead that has a condo or an apartment and they live in Waterloo. And this segments down your audience so that you can list every touch point each segment could possibly see and interact with. And this information will help you to generate social content and social strategies to segment your email marketing audience, and it can help with SEO. You can target these people directly through your SEO. You can create landing pages on your website that are specifically for these people. You can use this for direct mail and more. Step 3 is to identify problem areas. And this is going to require some brutal honesty with yourself. Something that can help is to step out of your own perspective and into that of a potential client. How would you perceive each of your touch points had you never heard of your brand before? Would you scroll right by them, or would you stop? Another way to collect this information is to survey, again, current and past clients on their experience with you. What did they feel could be improved? Another thing is to take note of what questions you often have to answer to your clients. Is there a way that you could answer these questions without having to directly do so? And which areas of your buyer journey have the opportunity to make a larger impact? The fourth step is to constantly revisit and revise. Your brand, the market, technology, and the world is quickly changing, unfortunately. It seems like it's hard to keep up. But we need to continue building brand consistency and loyalty in order to try and keep up. This process will need to be revisited and revised often. Every 6 months could be a good time frame to revisit, but you should do whatever works best for your brand. Sometimes it can just be a small tweak, like a color or a sentence. You can test different ideas and measure them to find what works for your brand. So to gather metrics to help measure the success of your touchpoint plan, you can use data tracking like Instagram analytics, email marketing insights, Facebook ad manager, Google Analytics, website traffic analytics. Website traffic analytics can generally be found in your website builder. So if you use Squarespace, they're there. I'm sure Shopify, Showit, those types of things have analytics on where people are finding your website, how long they're staying on certain pages, that sort of thing. So you can utilize these data tracking tools to help show you what works and what needs to be tweaked. So remember that trust is essential in building brand loyalty. As we know, trust is earned through multiple encounters. Providing value to your clients, even before they've purchased from you, can be a really great way to begin building trust. So how can we provide value in every stage of the buyer journey with all while convincing people why they should work with you or buy from you? After all, who enjoys watching ads, commercials, or salesy content? Not many people I know. That's why we need to provide value rather than just sell. So approaching your content from a place of providing value and education rather than from a place of sales can be a really effective way to educate people and move them through the buyer journey in an authentic and genuine way. We all talk about authenticity and alignment these days. Those are huge buzzwords, but what does that really mean? And it can mean something different to everyone, but providing something of value to folks that will improve their life without an exchange of money is a very authentic and genuine thing to do. Let me explain. So back to the residential cleaning metaphor. As a business and as the owner of a residential cleaning business, you are likely very passionate and dedicated to providing top-notch service and making your clients feel taken care of and happy. If this is true, wouldn't you want this for folks, even if they're not paying you? And I'm not saying to provide your services for free. Please do not do that. I'm saying that when you come from a place of authentically wanting to help and serve, you will naturally draw more people to you. build more meaningful connections, and therefore make a greater impact. This all leads to getting more and better reviews, having more return clients, being able to charge more, and growing your business. So how can we provide value before we've made a sale? I've got a little list here. Again, non-exhaustive. There are so many ways you can do this depending on your business, but some examples could be blog posts, FAQ pages on your website, free or low-cost downloadable guides. These can be PDFs, workbooks, tutorial videos. You can do first-time customer discounts, free consultations or audits. You can create thought leadership style content. You can use affiliate content, which would be recommendations. You can create webinars, just like Meredith does here. You can do guest speaking, which is what I am doing here. You can use advocating and community involvement, and you can share tips and tricks. Just remember that coming from a place of authenticity and kindness in your business will always be successful. Any questions?
Kate, that was so good.
Thank you.
This is like a very all-encompassing presentation, because I think it makes it really clear how much, like, it's a domino effect of everything, and you can't do one without the other. So I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out. This is the first time we've kind of had a presentation where it really, makes it very clear that when you're running a business, it really does require all these different hats, whether you're outsourcing those hats or not. So really well done. And that was like crystal clear when you were presenting. I'd love for some questions, but I don't know. I mean, it was really good.
Thanks, Mare. I do have one thing to add that you just prompted me to think about, is that this is stuff that takes years and years to get consistent, and it's always changing. So you will likely never feel like you've got it all under control. That is just an expectation, but being aware of where people are interacting with you and doing your best to make that all consistent is going to be a larger effort than a lot of people are putting in, and that's going to differentiate you. There was something else you said that made me want to think about, so this is why having brand guidelines and brand foundations and understanding who you are as a business is so important, because without that, none of these things are possible. Or they're just going to be futile efforts. So really nailing down that foundation of who you are, what you look like, what you sound like is very important before you try to start doing any of this stuff.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts? So like a lot of what you chatted about was assuming these brand touch points exist when in actuality, like one of your comments was, social and website are the two most important things. So what are your thoughts on when somebody says, I don't think I need a website?
Well, that's a tough one, because a lot of people do come from that assumption, or they think as long as they have a website, that's all that matters. But having a really optimized website is so important because of SEO and how people are finding you. Think about when you're looking for a product or service, you're going to Google and you're searching. And if all you're taken to is an Instagram account, you might think, I don't know, these people don't really seem legit. Is this just kind of like a side hustle that someone is just starting? Like, it doesn't feel reputable. So a website is really a really great place to provide all of the information people could ever need about your business and collect leads, convince people why they should work with you or buy from you, and just let people find you and make your business look legit.
Yeah.
Anything to add to that, Meredith? Because I know you field that question quite often as well.
Yeah, I do. I think I hate to be the person that piggybacks. That's so annoying. I think it's just important. It goes back to that perspective piece and understanding that although you as the business owner may not see the value, your audience does, you know? And I mean, I could really talk about this for a long time. I get a lot of people really, I mean, sometimes they say, I love the design, but it's, I love your photographs. You look so fun to work with. So it's just the fact that those photos are there and done well, you know, to bring out that personality. That is a brand touch point that has been very successful in our business. So, yeah, it's just the other thing too. I was talking to, I forget who I was talking to, but you mentioned this as well, as not realizing. I think it's important to remember that a website doesn't read like a book. So you don't naturally just land on a homepage, read through it, then you know, move through it. Somebody could land on your contact page or land on your blog page. And so understanding that and making it read, this is really like a content and design kind of point, but understanding that they can start from the end kind of thing. And yeah, stepping in, I think too, like when you were talking about, you know, fielding feedback from people, I find if you go to friends, they're going to be really, really kind and really say you don't need to change anything, and that's fine, but it's not usually the case. So making sure that you're really gathering that feedback from either experts in that field or like the perfect kind of avatar of your target audience. And not just getting it from, you know, your significant other who probably doesn't want you to spend money.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're gathering feedback from people who either aren't in your industry or are not your target audience, we don't need to listen to what they're going to say. I don't care what someone says who is neither of those things.
Right. Exactly.
Sarah has her hand up. Did you have a question, Sarah?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on the comment about the website and like that being one of your brand touch points. And I found it from experience for myself when I leveled up my website and my platforms. It's like really interesting how powerful that is. It's not only like people start taking you seriously, but you also start shifting how you are perceiving your own brand and your own business. And the domino effect of that too is that people just start assuming, whether it's true or not, and it likely is true, that the customer experience with you is next level. So your onboarding is next level, your communication is next level. It's like, it just catapults you in all of those areas. So I just wanted to make that comment that it's, you know, these touch points are so powerful in just how everybody sees your business and sees how you operate and the level of professionalism and seriousness.
I totally agree. I think that, oh my gosh, my brain just completely went blank, but I definitely had something to follow up. Oh, there we go. When you have all these things in place, you feel really confident and proud and you want to show it off. So you're going to be way more likely to go out and talk to people about your business and network and post your stuff and whatever, like put yourself out there when you are proud of what you have in place and are confident that when someone inquires with you, you have a perfectly set out system to get them from point A to point B. So I think that's like ultimately going to grow your business.
I think it makes it easier too, Kate, right? Like when everything's in place, it's easier just to execute it because it's a well-oiled machine, right?
Take stress off of you and you can bring in more clients at a time. You can have someone else take over. That's so true.
Yeah, the power of outsourcing when everything, right? There's no, I've explained when it's like a game of telephone, right? Everything is diluted when you're just sort of like communicating verbally what these things are, and it could be said differently to one than the other. Nikisha,
asks, do you have a checklist that we can go through quarterly to make improvements for our business? I do not have one already put together, but I think going through the PDF that you'll be sent after this and looking at those like list of touch points that I have and writing down which ones are specific to your business, every single one that you could think of, and then using those like audience segments and figuring out where all those are, and then start from the top and go through each one and compare them to each other and go through it as if you were a client. How would you move through this? I guarantee you will find things where you're like, oh, that makes sense if I just like flipped this thing around or changed this word slightly. There's things that you've likely missed when creating stuff. So that can be kind of like a checklist. And then once you have clarity and a good idea of what everything is, take that list and then revisit it in every quarter or every 6 months or whatever, and do the same thing again. It's likely going to be less and less work every time, but you've probably learned things this quarter that you can implement or change, or maybe there's a client question that keeps coming up and you can like include that in part of your onboarding or whatever it is.
Thank you.
No problem.
does anybody else have anything? Sarah, I don't know if your hand's up again or if that's an old hand.
Sorry.
Okay. We might be good here, Kate. I don't see anything else in the chat.
Awesome. If anyone wants to, sorry, let me just go here. Shoot me an email if you have any questions. Give me a follow on Instagram. I'm always sharing fun tips and tricks on there about running businesses and about branding and web design, that sort of thing. So would love to keep in touch with you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kate. I'll be sending the presentation out and the replay to everyone. So you'll get that shortly. Okay, thanks for joining. Thanks again, Kate.
Thank you.
Bye.